Hey everyone, we're back for another workout of the day. Today is an AMRAP for 20 minutes. It's going to be our pumpkin patch workout. It's 8 push presses, 16 V-ups, 8 burpees, and 16 goblet squats. So we're gonna go through all of those movements and the modifications, and then you can get started. Okay, so our first movement is going to be our push press. So first we'll go over with the barbell. You can start from the floor or from a rack. If you've never done cleans or anything like that, I would start from the rack because you're gonna have to clean the barbell up onto your shoulders to get it in that position that we want to start in. So a few things to keep in mind. We want our feet to be planted on the ground. So we want to be flat-footed when we go for that drive up. When we always want to keep our chest nice and straight. We don't want to be leaning forward or back at any moment of the lift. When we come down into that quarter squat, we want to make sure our legs are coming out so that we stay nice and straight. If we go forward, we're going to feel that rock in that body onto our toes, which we're trying to avoid, right? So we want to be able to use our legs the best that we can to drive the barbell up so it pops off our shoulders. And then as it pops up, we're just finishing the drive up overhead. When we have the barbell resting on our shoulders, that's what it's doing. It's resting on our shoulders. So we're going to create a rack for it to sit in. So by how we do that is kind of pushing our elbows up and out a little bit, and we're going to have the barbell sitting here. If at any point you feel yourself holding the barbell in place, you're doing way more work than you need to, and you're not going to be able to get that leg drive up to pop the barbell where we want. So we want it to be sitting here so that we have that direct leg drive up. When it's here, our legs are back here and we're not creating that drive where we want it. Plus our arms can't be loose enough to allow the pop up. So again, you want to drive the elbows up and out and let it rest there. You should be able to take your hands off the barbell and it should still be able to hold it there. So let's just see how this plays out. We're gonna lift the barbell up. Our feet are gonna be about hip width apart. We're gonna clean the barbell up if we need to. We're gonna create that rack. We're gonna bring our knees out into a quarter squat, and we're gonna drive really, really hard and push up overhead. And we're gonna make sure our arms are completely straight overhead. So again, we're pushing. When we come down, our feet are flat, and we're only getting onto our toes just at the end of that drive. And we're gonna be straight, our head is gonna come through, our ears are gonna be even with our arms. Also, make sure you're getting your head out of the way. So as the barbell comes up, you're kind of pushing your head back and then through at the top. Okay, so that's with the barbell. If you don't have a barbell, not ready for the barbell, you can use dumbbells. So we can use dumbbells in 2 ways. We can either use one arm at a time. So you would do 8 on each side, or 4 on each side. Or you can do 2 at a time, but again, make sure we're staying even. So here's 2 at a time first. We're gonna rest it on our shoulders, the one end. We're gonna do the exact same movement. We're gonna come down into that quarter squat and drive up overhead, come back down, drive up overhead, knees always out. Now if we're just doing one, you wanna make sure you have good control when you have 2, that you're going in that straight direction. Once we go out, we're gonna start moving around and things aren't going to be stacked and supported by the rest of your body. So if we're not ready for 2, you can do 1, and it's that same movement, and make sure we're straight overhead. When you're holding it overhead, it shouldn't feel too much like a burden because your arm is straight and it's resting into your shoulders resting into your back and all of your muscles here and legs and so forth and so on. And so everything will support everything. So make sure you're straight up. Our arms are straight up at the top. We're coming back down, using that leg drive to really drive the barbell or dumbbells upward. You can also just use your slam ball and you can either do push or no push. You just strict or overhead. Okay. Our V up, get those abs working. So we're gonna come up and touch those toes, really thinking about engaging that core, so we're just not moving our hips around. We really want to get that core working. Modifications, knees, alternating, or just sit-ups, or leg raises. Again, with the leg raises, make sure you're thinking about squeezing that core. We don't want to just be lifting our legs up and down. That's just going to really work our legs and glutes, and we're really looking for more than that. We're really looking for that core to get strong and engaged. So the next movement, our lovely burpee. So we're going to come down, our hands are going to come down to the ground. We're going to kick all the way out until we're straight. Come down, touch your chest to the ground, come back up, kick those legs forward as far as you can to your hands. Stand up and finish with a jump at the top. So modifications, no push-up. But again, make sure you're coming all the way out and back up. You can walk out burpee and come down with the push-up or without the push-up. The last movement is our goblet squat. So you can use a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell, you can use a slam ball, you can use whatever weight you want. Dealer's choice. So when we're coming down into our squat, our chest is always going to be upward. Our knees are coming out, again, just like our push press. We don't want to be coming forward because now we're starting to rock forward. Our back is then putting less pressure on that lower back. Things are starting to become unaligned. And with the goblet squat, we're adding weight. So we have to definitely watch our form here. So when we come down into our squat, knees out, chest up, we're gonna come down to at least parallel with the ground. So this leg is parallel to the ground or a little bit lower if you can. Things to keep in mind, are you rolling on your toes? Good sign that you're rolling on your toes means that you're coming forward with those knees instead of outward. Because your foot, we want it flat the whole time. The other thing is just could be mobility, right? So we got to work on that ankle mobility. So we just don't have the mobility to get down into that far squat. What I want you to do is come down as far as you can where your foot is still flat on the ground. It can roll a little bit, but not too much. We want to make sure it's flat on the ground. We can use things like a med ball to squat to, or even a box. But keep in mind, when you're squatting to a box or a med ball, and the med ball is going to be a little lower, that's going to be exactly where you want to be. For most people, for me, I'm short, so yes. When we come down and we're squatting to something, right, what I don't want you to do is lean forward and sit down, right? We want to make sure we're staying straight the whole time, and we don't want to sit, relax, have a coffee, whatever, and then stand up. We want to just touch it and stand back up. Or if we are going to sit, it's for a second, and what I don't want you to do is rock your way up. So what I mean is when you sit and you're kind of giving that rocking momentum to stand up, a lot of times we do that just getting up from the couch or something. So we don't want to be doing that, right? With the goblet squat, we're adding weight. So we're gonna take our dumbbell, we're gonna hold it like so, and then we're just gonna come down into that squat position. And the same thing with any other sort of weight that you're using. If you're not ready for a weight, we can go ahead, just use our body weight, and it will be great. One other thing I forgot to mention with the push press for modification, you can also use a band. And again, we'll do 8 on each side for this one. We're going to put one foot in, and we're going to make sure we're coming up in that straight line. There's going to be no push with the legs, just the resistance of the band. And when you're standing there doing this, you want to make sure everything's engaged and tight. You might even want to squeeze those glutes together to make sure you're not moving or rocking, or just, and like I said, it's going to come up in a straight line. We don't want to be out here. We don't want to be bending this way. We just want to be coming straight. So whatever band you use, make sure the resistance works for that, right? If you're really struggling to get it up and you find yourself really using your body, go with a lighter resistance. Okay, so that is the workout. That is pumpkin patch, and good luck.